Welcome back to Legion Builds, where I bring fictional characters into games of Dungeons & Dragons. Today we are bringing to life the Battosai, Himura Kenshin. Kenshin is the ultimate samurai killer turned protector. His skills are so honed and perfect that his sword brings no death. Listen, I can already see the comments now. Gonzo, his sword isn't sharp. That's how he doesn't kill. You can't kill with a reverse blade sword. No, Miyamoto Musashi killed people with a wooden stick. Because of his training, he can miss all vital areas and cause non-lethal damage. The reverse blade is a symbol of his determination to never again take another life. And now, it's your turn. Our goals today are to create a warrior of unparalleled speed and agility. Next, you need to know how to cause maximum damage to a body even if you aren't going to kill them. Finally, we need you to become the greatest sword-swinging warrior of all time, making people believe your skills are beyond that of immortal beings. We're using standard point array because you can roll your own damn dice. And we are multi-classing, so keep minimums in mind. Starting off with wisdom at 15. You have seen the horrors of war and understand the pain of loss. You will never let that happen to anyone else again. Dex is next at 14. You move so fast people can't see you. Con will be a 13. Regardless of what you have seen, you never age and are always in amazing physical condition. Strength will be a 12, you're strong, but you're kind of small. Intelligence is low at 10 because I had a 10 and I needed to place it somewhere. Finally, we're dumping charisma. You have very little social skills and most people think you're some weirdo till they see your incredible speed. Kenshin is a human at the peak of his skills. Varying Human grants a free feat with stat improvements. Add +1 into Dex and Wisdom. Slasher adds +1 to Dex. Once per turn, when you hit a creature with a slashing weapon, you can reduce the speed by 10 feet till the start of your next turn, and when you score a critical hit with a slashing weapon, the target has disadvantage on all attack rolls till the start of your next turn. Let's talk about something real quick. You can talk to your DM about using a long sword that causes bludgeoning damage instead of slashing damage. If you do, switch this to the athlete feat and keep the +1 to Dex. Regardless of what damage type your weapon does, you have to make sure you're doing non-lethal damage. Unless you just want to use this build to fight like Kenshin, then start cutting some bastards. For your free skill, take Acrobatics. For your background, we need the skills Medicine and History. We're going to start things off with the best soldier class, Ranger. Take the skills Athletics, Perception, and Insight. Level 1 Rangers receive Favored Foe. When you hit a target with an attack, you can now mark them as your favored foe for 1 minute, dealing 1d4 extra damage. You must maintain concentration to use this, and you can use it a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus. We'll be getting something better in a minute. You're level 1, this is great. You also receive Deft Explorer. This gives you Canny. You learn 2 languages of your choice and gain expertise in 1 skill, doubling the proficiency for that skill. Place this into Perception. Level 2 Rangers gain a Fighting Style. Dueling adds +2 damage when holding a single weapon in one hand and holding no other weapon. You're also a spell caster and gain 2 spells. Long Strider increases your speed by 10 feet for 1 hour. Hunter's Mark lets you, as a bonus action, mark a target. You now deal a bonus d6 damage, have advantage on tracking the marked target, and can move the mark to a new target with a bonus action, even if you defeat the previous target. This is a concentration, so it can't stack with Favored Foe. Level 3 Rangers can now choose their subclass. There is no Manslayer, but there is Monster Slayer. Hunter Sense lets you, as an action, choose 1 creature within 60 feet. You now know if the creature has any damage immunities, resistances, or vulnerabilities. You can do this a number of times equal to your Wisdom modifier. Slayer's Prey is similar to Favored Foe and Hunter's Mark, but it's not a concentration. Now with a bonus action, you can choose 1 creature within 60 feet of you to be your prey, adding 1d6 to the damage. You can only do this once per short or long rest, but this does stack with Hunter's Mark or Favored Foe. But remember, this is a bonus action and so is Hunter's Mark, so you can't stack them at the same time, but Favored Foe is free. You also receive Slayer spells. Protection from Evil and Good protects 1 creature from a chosen type of creature, such as Undead, Fae, Fiend, and more. Not too important for this build, but it's useful. For your normal Ranger spell, Jump triples your jump distance for 1 minute. You also receive an ability called Primeval Awareness, but it doesn't fit with this build, so I'm not really going to talk about it. Level 4 Rangers receive our first ability score improvement. Place this into decks as we're going to be needing it soon. Level 5 Rangers gain extra attack. You can now attack twice with a single action. You also receive second level spell slots. For your new Slayer spell, Zone of Truth creates a 15-foot radius sphere for 10 minutes. Any creature entering the sphere must make a charisma save or be unable to tell a lie. You know if they fail to save, and they can avoid answering anything. You also receive your final Ranger spell. Enhance ability lets you inspire your friends for 1 hour. While you maintain this spell, you grant one creature a special ability that grants them advantage on certain checks, reduces fall damage, gives them temporary hit points, and increases their carrying capacity. There are 6 different abilities that you must choose from. Time to jump classes. You're fed up with war and death, and it's time to become a wanderer. Level 1 monks gain unarmored defense. Now when not wearing your armor, your AC is 10 plus your dex plus your wisdom, bringing you up to an AC of 17. Martial arts improves your unarmed combat. Now your unarmed strikes are dex based, you can make a bonus attack with your empty hand, and you do 1d4 damage. Also, any monk weapon is now dex based, and will use the martial arts dice. Monk weapons are all simple weapons and short swords, so not your katana. We'll fix that soon, like right now. Level 2 monks can now have a dedicated weapon. You can now make one weapon you're proficient with into a monk weapon, meaning your katana is now dex based, which is good because your strength is not good at all. You also receive unarmored movement. Now when not wearing armor, your movement is increased to 40 feet or 50 feet with long strider. Let's bump that up even more with ki. Ki allows you to burn ki points to perform special abilities and tricks. You have 3 options right now to use ki on. Flurry of Blows lets you attack twice with an unarmed strike in a single bonus action. Patient Defense lets you take dodge as a bonus action. Finally, Step of the Wind lets you take dash and disengage as bonus actions and doubles your jump distance. This means your total movement possible is 100 feet in a single turn, and your possible long jump is 72 feet with a high jump of 24 feet. Level 3 monks receive Deflect Missiles. Now, when hit with a projectile, you can use your reaction to lower the damage by 1d10 plus dex plus your monk level. If you reduce it to 0 and have an open hand, you can catch it and yeet it back at someone. Ki Fueled Attack is similar to Flurry of Blows, but now allows you to spend 1 ki point to attack twice with a weapon with your bonus action. You only ever use your katana, but it's good to know that if you're holding 2 weapons, you can attack 4 times. Finally, you can now choose your subclass. Time to take your sword skills to a whole new level with the Way of the Kensai. Path of the Kensai lets you turn 1 melee and 1 ranged weapon into Kensai weapons as long as they lack the special or heavy properties. This just turns them into monk weapons, but with a few more abilities. So choose your katana. Agile Parry makes your Kensai weapon into a defensive weapon. Now when holding your Kensai and making an unarmed strike and not attacking with your Kensai weapon, you get to add +2 AC to the start of your next turn. Kensai Shot turns a ranged Kensai weapon attack stronger by adding 1d4 of damage, but you don't use ranged weapons, only your blade. Level 4 monks gain our next ability score improvement, Cap Off Dex, for an AC of 18 and +7 damage to your katana. Slow Fall lets you reduce falling damage as a reaction by 5 times your monk level. Quicken Healing lets you spend 2 ki points to heal yourself by rolling martial arts dice and adding your proficiency bonus. Level 5 monks can now perform a Stunning Strike. Now when you hit a creature with a melee attack, you can spend 1 ki point to stun them, forcing a con save. If they fail, they are stunned to the end of their next turn. Focus Aim lets you spend up to 3 ki points when you miss an attack, adding 2 to the roll for each ki point. Your martial arts dice are now a d6. Level 6 monks receive Ki Empowered Strikes. Your unarmed attacks are now magical. Kensai monks receive one with the blade. Your Kensai weapon attacks are now magical as well. Death Strike lets you add more damage to your Kensai weapons by spending ki points. You also gain a new Kensai weapon, so go wild. Finally, your movement is now 45 feet without armor with a potential 110 feet. Level 7 monks now have Evasion. Now, when you make a dex save, you will take no damage on a success and half damage on a failure. Stillness of Mind lets you end one effect on yourself that is making you charmed or frightened. Level 8 monks gain another ability score improvement. Time to bump up wisdom and make your AC 19. Level 9 monks receive improvement to their unarmored movement. You can now run up vertical surfaces and across liquids. Warning, if you stop, you fall. Level 10 monks now have purity of body. You are immune to disease and poison. Your total movement is now 50 feet with a possible 120 feet. Level 11 Kensai monks receive Sharpen the Blade. As a bonus action, you can spend up to 3 ki points to add damage to your weapon attack for 1 minute. For each ki point you spend, you add +1 to attack and damage to the weapon. Your martial arts dice are now a D8. This means your unarmed strikes and any monk weapon you use is now a D8 of damage. You also receive your final Kensai weapon. Once more, you have the only weapon you need, so go wild. Level 12 monks gain our final ability score improvement. Cap off wisdom for an AC of 20 and a passive perception of 27. Level 13 monks receive Tongue of Sun and Moon. You can now understand any spoken language and be understood. You do not actually know the language, but can understand it. Level 14 monks now have Diamond Soul. You're proficient in all saving throws and can spend 1 ki point to re-roll a failed save. Your total movement is now capped at 55 feet with a possible 130 feet. Our final level is level 15 monks and you gain Timeless Body. You don't age. Seriously, you spend a majority of your life looking 14. You're not 14 though. You're still aging. You just don't look it. Magic can't even age you. You can be 60 years old and still fight like you're young. Also, you don't need food or water. Not really important for this build and doesn't make much sense. We just wanted you to be ageless. Time to dive in and look at this build. You are fast. In 1 turn, you can move 55 feet, can increase that to 65 feet, or run up to 130 feet. Your jumping capabilities are also nothing to laugh at, with a long jump of 70 feet. You can move up surfaces across water, reduce fall damage by 75, deflect shots coming at you. You can attack up to 4 times, and your AC is 20. You're not just a manslayer, you're an everything slayer. Your damage is magical, you can add d6s to your hits. You know their weaknesses by looking at them. All your attacks are d8. You stun your enemies, give them disadvantage, slow them down, re-roll misses, and add up to +3 to attack and damage. Finally, you are a Zen master. Not something Kenshin was, but I always felt like he was. Your passive perception is 27, so no one is sneaking up on you. You're proficient in all saving throws, can end effects on yourself, heal yourself, immune to disease and poison, and you don't age. Downside, you have limited resources. 15 ki points, 6 spell slots, which really isn't that bad. You get your ki points back after a short rest as long as you meditate for 30 minutes. The only real downside is you have no ranged options, but that's Kenshin. You can change this build up by taking a longbow and bam, you now have range capabilities. This build allows you to weigh down your opponents with your attack rate and bonuses to damage, giving your team time to rally to you and devastate the enemy lines. Monks get a bad rap in D&D and so do rangers, which I don't really understand. Monks' movement capabilities improve any character, and their natural ability to deal magic damage without spells is amazing. And rangers get so many abilities and damage modifiers. But out of all the monk builds I've done, this is in my top 2, only being beaten out by Tron. If you like monk builds, go check out my playlist. Don't forget to like and subscribe to not miss a new build each week and ring the bell to be alerted to new builds that go up.